precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavela, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. President to consider increase in senior citizen deposit interest rates. 3-member committee will be set up to investigate the collapse of a concrete beam in the Central Expressway. More than 210 million rupees has been credited to the respective accounts of farmers to purchase fertilizer. A National Dengue Prevention Week has been declared in Sri Lanka. 13 persons apprehended for illegal harvesting of sea cucumbers in Mannar. And in world news, India court grants bail to Delhi leader Arvind Kejriwal. And in sports, Mbappe announces he will leave Paris Saint-Germain. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed Finance State Minister Dr. Ranjit Simbalapitiya to provide him with a detailed report containing the criteria to be implemented regarding the increase in interest rates for senior citizens' deposits. Considering the request and instructions received from the President in this regard, the State Minister stated that he will take action to provide a detailed report, including a methodology for raising the senior citizens' deposit interest rates very soon. An annual interest rate of 15% has been offered to the deposits of senior citizens above 60 in bank and financial institutions. State Minister Simbalapitiya said that many senior citizens who were living on interest income were inconvenienced as the interest rate offered to savings has dropped to a single digit, and they informed him about their plight due to this situation. The senior citizens have also informed the President from time to time in this regard. He also said the President has sought a detailed report from him to consider this matter carefully and sympathetically and take further action. The Road Development Authority says that it has been proposed to appoint a 3-member committee to investigate the collapse of a concrete beam in the Central Expressway. The collapse involved a 35-meter-long concrete beam, with the other 2 beams now deemed at risk. The collapsed beam was laid in 2021. However, the authorities have not announced the cause of the collapse. The Road Development Authority also said that in view of the existing risk, the quality of all the beams along the 17-kilometer section of the road will be tested. Agrarian Development Authority says that more than 210 million rupees has been credited to the respective accounts of the farmers to purchase fertilizer. The funds have been transferred to the farmers in the districts of Ampara, Anuradhapura, Hambantota, Kurunegala and Polonnaruwa districts. The expected land area of this harvesting season is 460,000 hectares. The Agrarian Development Authority says that 7 billion rupees has been allocated in this regard. 15,000 rupees per hectare will be paid for a farmer to purchase fertilizer in the upcoming Yalla season. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
Continuing local news, a National Dengue Prevention Week has been declared in Sri Lanka. National Dengue Prevention Week will begin on the 26th of this month. During this week, the National Dengue Control Unit will implement a special mosquito control program across 71 MOH divisions in 17 districts. Its community medical expert Dr. Anuja Derasinghe said this program is being implemented to control the number of dengue patients reported with the coming monsoon. During the year, 22,943 cases of dengue have been reported in Sri Lanka. The number of deaths reported due to dengue virus stands at 9. Minister of State for Technology Kanaka Herath expressed the importance of the Digicon Global Investment Summit 2024 held alongside the Digicon 2023 project under the leadership of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. He highlighted its special significance for Sri Lankan youth involved in the IT sector, emphasizing its potential to attract foreign investments and strengthen the nation's economy. Speaking at the Presidential Media Centre yesterday, the State Minister emphasized the vital role of the conference held in conjunction with the Digicon 2023 initiative aimed at advancing a digital economy in Sri Lanka under the State Ministry of Technology's leadership. Search operations conducted by the Sri Lanka Navy and Coast Guard in Pesale and Vannakalappada Sea area of Mannar on last Thursday led to the apprehension of 13 persons for illegal harvesting and transporting of sea cucumbers. The operations also resulted in the seizure of about 627 sea cucumbers, 7 trawlers and unauthorized fishing equipment. The Sri Lanka Navy and Coast Guard often conduct such operations in the coastal and sea areas of the island with a view to prevent illegal fishing practices performed by a handful of people with a scant regard of repercussions of such practices. Meanwhile, the commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, embarked on a formal visit to the Southeastern Naval Command. The visit took place from the 8th to the 10th of this month. This visit encompassed a comprehensive overview of operational matters, developmental initiatives, and welfare projects underway within the command. Addressing officers and sailors of the command, the Navy chief also briefed on how they could dedicate themselves more effectively to fulfill the Navy's duties. That ends local news.
Elevate your life with People's Bank Excelsior. A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Assistant Secretary of the State for South and Central Asian Affairs Donald Lu will travel to India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh from May 10th to 15th. His trip will strengthen bilateral cooperation with each country and demonstrate U.S. support for a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. In Chennai, Assistant Secretary Lu will meet with consulate personnel to bolster bilateral engagement in southern India. He will then travel to Colombo to engage with officials from across the political spectrum and deepen the United States partnership with Sri Lanka. In his meetings, he will reaffirm the United States' support for Sri Lanka's economic recovery, as well as the importance of a robust civil society as a cornerstone of a free and democratic society. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. Another person from the Punnalai Kattuwan area in Jaffna has died on Thursday from getting exposed to excessive heat. A male aged 45 who had consumed alcohol with a group of friends in the afternoon has returned to his home afterwards and was found fallen in the garden, police said. The daughter of the victim has checked his condition after seeing the father fallen and has admitted him to the Tellipallai hospital upon noticing that he was unconscious. However, the victim has died soon after being admitted to the hospital, and the body has been sent to the Jaffna Teaching Hospital to conduct the postmortem, which has revealed that the victim has died from dehydration caused by the excessive heat. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to world news. Taking a look at the headlines of the world news. India court grants bail to Delhi leader Arvind Kejriwal. Ukraine says it repelled Russian bid to cross border. Confusion over fate of Dutch Eurovision star. Now the world news in detail. India's top court has granted interim bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal more than a month after he was arrested in a corruption case. The court said that the bail is applicable until 1st June, after which he must surrender to authorities again. A former anti-corruption crusader, Mr. Kejriwal was arrested in connection with a now-scrapped alcohol sales policy in March. He has denied the charges against him and has called his arrest illegal. The Chief Minister moved the Supreme Court after the Delhi High Court refused to give him bail last month. His bail was strongly opposed in court by India's Financial Crimes Agency, the Enforcement Directorate. Ukraine says it has repelled a Russian armed attack in the northeastern Kharkiv region after Moscow's forces launched an incursion across the border and sought to break through defensive lines. Kharkiv regional head Alexei said Russian reconnaissance group has tried to penetrate the border, adding that not a single meter has been lost. Also, on Friday, a huge fire broke out at an oil storage depot in Ukraine's occupied Luhansk region after what Russian installed officials said was a Ukrainian strike. 3 people were killed in the attack. They added, Ukrainian commanders have been expecting a summer offensive for some time, possibly even a bid to capture the regional capital Kharkiv. The Dutch Eurovision contestants will not perform in Friday's evening's dress rehearsal while organizers investigate a backstage incident. The European Broadcasting Union, which organizes the event, has not specified what the incident involving jurors, and the evening dress rehearsal is watched by jurors around Europe to determine their scores of the grand final of Youth Clan. With that, we conclude the world news. Prior to concluding the headlines of the world news once again, India court grants bail to Delhi leader Arvind Kejriwal. Ukraine says it repelled Russian bid to cross border. Confusion over fate of Dutch Eurovision star. That ends world news.
Development news.
Over 800,000 foreign tourists have visited Sri Lanka this year. Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority said 806,698 foreign tourists have arrived in Sri Lanka from January 1st to May 5th of this year, marking a significant increase compared to the same period last year. In just the first 5 days of this month, 22,047 foreign tourists have arrived in Sri Lanka. The majority of these tourists are from India, totaling 4,351, followed by 2,489 tourists from the Maldives. That came to you in development news.
Moving on with sports news.
France striker Kylian Mbappe says he will leave Paris Saint-Germain at the end of the season. Mbappe, aged 25, announced the decision in a video released on his social media external accounts. Mbappe's contract with the PSG expires in June, and BBC Sport reported in February that he has agreed to deal to join Real Madrid in the summer. The World Cup winner is PSG's record goal scorer with 255 goals and will play his final home game at the Parc des Princes in Toulouse in Ligue 1 on Sunday at 8 BST. Novak Djokovic was hit on the head by a water bottle as he signed autographs after his win at the Italian Open. A video on social media showed World Cup #1 Djokovic falling to the floor after being hit by the object which came from the stands. Tournament organizers said the hot bottle had fallen out of the bag of someone in the crowd. The 24-time Grand Slam champion stayed on the ground for a while before being helped out of the arena in Rome by security. That came to you in sports news.
Go ekakiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu gina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna
The all-new NSB Itru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Walt Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery say they will start to offer a bundle of the Disney Plus, Hulu and Max streaming services to customers in the US this summer. The new package will be available to customers on all 3 streaming platforms. The media giants said they will offer plans with and without adverts but did not reveal how much they will charge customers. The move comes as Disney and Warner Brothers face competition from rivals including Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Itru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, State Minister of Investment Promotion Dilum Amnagama highlighted that the country's investment environment has undergone a remarkable 200% enhancement compared to 2 years ago. He further stated that the targets assigned to the State Ministry of Investment Promotion by the Ministry of Finance for 2024 could potentially triple by the end of this year. The State Minister emphasized the importance of political stability, financial stability and certainty about the future to attract investments into the country. He made these remarks yesterday during a press conference themed Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Center. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in most provinces of the island after 2 p.m. Heavy showers more than 100 millimeters are likely at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Showers may occur at several places in the coastal areas of southern province during the morning too. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. President to consider increase in senior citizen deposit interest rates. 3-member committee will be set up to investigate the collapse of a concrete beam in the Central Expressway. More than 210 million rupees has been credited to the respective accounts of farmers to purchase fertilizer. A National Dengue Prevention Week has been declared in Sri Lanka. 13 persons apprehended for illegal harvesting of sea cucumbers in Mannar. With that, we conclude the news and over to my friend and certainly yours who's all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music indeed. Over to you, Romesh Peris.